Assalamu alaikum, dear students and respected viewers. As you know, I am teaching you history. My class 7th. We are reading the Mughal Empire, the Great Mughals, in which we talked about the Babur, the Sur, the Humayun, and the great king, that is Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar. We also talked about the Akbar's rule, his Deen Ilahi, his policies in our previous chapter. Now, in today's lecture, we have to talk about the Jahangir, as well as we will also talk about the Shah Jahan, how they came into the power, as well as we will also talk about their policies and the different works on different fields they have done during their rule. Right? Very simple to understand, not tough but easy, as we are going through the Mughal Empire, the Great Mughals. We are reading it all this in sequence in an order, one by one. So today we will talk about the Jahangir, who has ruled Indian subcontinent from 1605 to 1627. As you know, in our daily life, one who is the eldest son of our families, he used to come on the forefront when we lost, and Khuda na kare, when we lost our family head, the eldest son of the family comes into the power. Right? Same is the case with Jahangir. He was the eldest son of Akbar. So, very common, he came into the power. And when he came into the power, he became the successor of Akbar. His original name was Prince Salim. As he ascended the throne, he came to known as Jahangir. Jahangir means conqueror of the world. So, while talking about him, he first of all consolidated the large and vast empire which was built by his father, Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar, Akbar the Great. But unfortunately, nobody else, not from the enemies, but his own son, Khusru, rebelled against his father. But he was very able and he got success in his against his son, and he arrested him and curbed his rebellion. Right? So that means he was very successful in this way. But while we are talking about Jahangir, he had also many losses as well as failures. He has many successes as well as failures. While we are talking about his successes and failures, then first of all, we will talk about his successes, which I have not mentioned here. We always try to highlight the important points of our topic. When we are talking about the successes of Jahangir, he defeated the Rana of Mewar in 1613. Not only this, he ended the conflict between the Mughal Empire and the king of Mewar, Rana of Mewar. He was very successful in Kangra campaign. But while we are talking about his failures, then he was not a successful king in conquering in his campaign to Deccan. Not only this, he was not able he also lost Kandahar to the Persians in northwest, which is presently a part of Afghanistan, Kandahar. And this was a big loss to him, as it was considered as a gateway for the trade between India and West Asia. But after all, I will call it as a biggest mistake which Mr. Jahangir has done at that time, which in the future allowed the East India Company or the Britishers to rule in India. That is what in 1615 Jahangir allowed the East India Company of England to trade in India. And East India Company had sent two captains, first William Hawkins and Sir Thomas Roe, who met Jahangir in his court and asked for the trading rights which were granted to them. But as you know, we have been the India subcontinent, like as India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. This came under the rule of British. It is because of this East India Company, which were allowed the trading rights by Mr. Jahangir in 1615. As far as my opinion is considered, I will call it as a biggest mistake in the history. But while we are talking about the Jahangir, he married a woman. The name of the woman was Shah Jahan, and he married in 1611. And not only this, as you know also, that behind the success of every man lies the hand of a woman. हर कामयाब मर्द के पीछे एक कामयाब औरत का हाथ होता है. तो same is the case with Mr. Jahangir. Nur Jahan was very talented, wise, and he used to also advise his king, his husband, in various important issues. That is why I have also written here, Jahangir owed much of his success to his wife Nur Jahan. But Nur Jahan spent a retired life after the death of Jahangir with his son. Now we will talk about the rule of Jahangir. That means what type of policies he has followed, what kind of ruler he was, whether he was a preachful or a sympathetic or justice ruler, what type of policies he has followed, like as peace and friendship policies or conquering and annexation policies. We have to talk about them. Mughal rule retained stability under his rule. That means the whole empire was in a stable condition. It was not in a confused condition, but it was in a stable condition. Not only this, what we read about the Akbar in previous lecture, that he was very friendly in nature towards the other kings or other Ranas. Same is the case, same policy was adopted by the Jahangir. He also used to be friendly with the Rajputs. Not only this, he was very secular in his policies, because the base of secularism was laid by his father Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar. And Tuzaki Jahangir is the biography of Jahangir, and it tells about the interests of Jahangir. That means this book, Tuzaki Jahangir, if anybody asks you that how you can say and where from you have got such an information regarding the interests of Jahangir, simply you will answer that Tuzaki Jahangir is a book, is the biography of Jahangir, which tells us about the interests of Jahangir. He was very just in rule. Not only this, he always cared about his subjects. With this, the rule of Jahangir comes to an end, and the new person comes on the scene. In the beginning, I told you that Jahangir's own son, Khusru, rebelled against him. That means a conflict started in the lifespan of Jahangir. That led to the fight between the two brothers, that is Khurram Ram and Khusru. But Khurram defeated his brother and became the king. When he was enthroned, he got the title Shah Jahan, which means ruler of the world. As in our common sense or in our daily use, we also called Shah as king or Badshah, जिसे हम उर्दू में बादशाह कहते हैं, ruler of the world. That means he defeated his own brother and he became the king. This man Shah Jahan had also many successes and failures. As we talked about the Jahangir, those people who were granted rights, trading rights during the rule of Jahangir, among which had the East India Company and the people from the Portuguese, these people, with the passage of time, tried to be dishonest towards the Mughal Empire, Mughal kings. But this man Shah Jahan made them to agree on their terms, because he defeated them and they were able, or they have to surrender. They surrendered before the Shah Jahan when they were not paying taxes. That means these people have now become disloyal towards the Mughal Empire, but this man defeated them and now they were able, or I will say, now they surrendered before the Mughal king. Now they were paying the taxes. When we are talking about the rule of Shah Jahan, as I told you that Tozaki Jahangiri tells us about the rule of Jahangir. Same is the case Padshah Nama and Shah Jahan Nama. These are the two books which tells us about the rule of Shah Jahan, what type of king he was, where his interest lied at that time. When we are going through these two books, then we get the information. He was a great patron of art and architecture, philosophy and poetry. And one example of his art and architecture is Taj Mahal, which he built in the memory of his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal. He also built Shah Jahan Abad and made it his capital. That means he was very interested in art and architecture. He has built new cities, new palaces, as Taj Mahal is one among them. Taj Mahal is also one among the 7 wonders of the world. From this point, you can understand it very well that how much Shah Jahan was interested in art and architecture. But with the passage of time, nobody remains in the rule. He felt ill and he died in 1666. He had 4 sons and there started a conflict among them, and Aurangzeb, who is renowned in the Islamic history, he is also called as Alamgir in Islamic world or Islamic history. He defeated his 3 brothers, and the next king who came on the throne was nobody else but the Aurangzeb. This is for today, but also I always advise you to go through the book. I hope so you will always read the book. Thank you.